This episode of the John Lebang Show is brought to you by Banger for President 2016.
Yeah, when the two-party system leaves you feeling ill deep down, then you only have one option. Vote for none of the above, man, or else you'll get the runs.
Banger 2016.
I'm John Lebang, and I approve this message. The John Lebang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Greetings, Earthlings, and alert the media. The banger is on the microphone. Welcome to another 60 minutes of sonic vibrations that causes chronic brain cell rejuvenation. I'm your host, of course, John Lebang, coming to you from my hidden bunker somewhere where you're never going to find me, ladies and gentlemen. You just can't find me. I know there's a lot of people that would like to find me. They'd like to hunt me down. Go watch some of my YouTube videos. That'll tell you for sure they don't like me. Some people don't like me, maybe because I speak the truth. I don't know. At least I attempt to speak the truth. Sometimes I get it wrong. We try to fix it here when we get it wrong. But I do my best to bring you the news that you're not going to get in the mainstream media. Oh, no, I mean, because you ain't hearing anything. You're not hearing one little thing about all these emails dumps from WikiLeaks. All this stuff proving a ton of things from Hillary Clinton. The first time some people heard about that she was inciting riots or violence over in Chicago and other places at Donald Trump rallies where people got hurt. The first time people heard about it was in the debate just this past week. And you know what? Most people are like, what the heck is he talking about? We heard about that, but that was the Trump supporters. Well, apparently not. Apparently, according to these WikiLeaks emails, it was Hillary and Podesta and all their little buddies going out there to cause trouble with Trump supporters. There's plenty of video evidence of it. All you have to do is go on YouTube and check it out, and you can find out for yourself that the protesters, quote unquote, were chasing down Trump supporters as these Trump supporters were just walking into the rally. They're all surrounding him and trying to pick fights with him. And some people got hurt. Some people didn't put up with that crap. So you're not going to hear that in the mainstream media because obviously they're in the tank for Hillary there. They must be. If you look at the mainstream media and the people who are associated with that and who work in the mainstream media, and then you look into their voting record and who they donate to as, candidates, you'll find out for yourself that the vast majority support the people like Hillary Clinton over a guy like Trump. Why would they like a guy like Trump? The guy speaks his mind. He tells it like he sees it. It may not always be accurate. It may not always be correct, but at least he gives you a judgment call and says, hey, maybe he's a little ill-informed on some things. Sure, that's okay. I didn't expect him to know everything that he needed to know going into this whole presidential campaign. At least this guy wasn't a politician before this whole thing started. Hillary Clinton, who talks smooth, who sounds great in these freaking debates, as far as like she has all the answers, although the answers are BS, like, the 17 U.S. agencies that supposedly say that Russia was the ones who gave WikiLeaks the emails. Oh, really, Mrs. Clinton? 17? See, if I was Trump, I wish I was there. See, they weren't going to include the banger in this debate because banger just wasn't going to get enough support. Banger's got less support than most of the other candidates out there. But that's okay. But if they would have let me on there, I would have said, oh, really, Mrs. Clinton? Please name me the agencies. All 17 of them. And she would have been stumped. Or she would have lied and she would have been able to been, through fact check. I wonder if, you might even went to hillaryclinton.org and find out the facts on that one, because you won't be able to hide those lies. Like maybe 2 put out opinions about it. There's no hard evidence on who put this out, and there is a little bit of evidence suggesting that it's the NSA themselves who have been putting out this evidence to WikiLeaks. And why wouldn't they? Let's think about that. Hillary Clinton has been found to be very careless with information, especially classified information, and some CIA agents, and I'm sure they're related to the NSA because they're kind of joined at the hip there. Because with data and everything, the government isn't as compartmentalized as it used to be. They share a lot of information. They have this interagency, what do they call it? Cooperativeness. So the NSA, seeing that some of the agents that they are involved with, some of the agents that have been giving them reliable information, were now dead or at risk because this information that Hillary Clinton couldn't seem to take care of properly got out to the rest of the world, and some people who didn't like the fact that we had spies watching them took a little retribution on the people who they thought were the spies that were accidentally, according to Hillary Clinton, I'm sorry I did it, she says. She's sorry she did it. She was careless, but who cares if people die, right? If she's careless. Apparently, every Hillary Clinton voter does not care how careless she is, doesn't care how corrupt she is. It doesn't matter because Hillary Clinton, you got to vote for her, the one with the D. It's going to be a historic election, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't know if you knew that. But not because if Hillary Clinton wins, it's going to be the first woman president. That is so minor. That's not the historic part. The historic part is going to be the part where it's going to be the American people knowingly and willingly sending up a mobster, a criminal, a habitual criminal up to the White House. And you know who there was a country in the past that did that, sent a criminal to lead their country. And I just want you to know, if you don't know European history, you should go read into that. Look into a certain Austrian person who's a criminal, who's sent to jail, who always did criminal things, and how they got elected to power because the people of that country were deceived. They obviously weren't as smart and ahead of the game as they thought they were. They thought they were the great race of the planet. Yet they fell for a person who was a habitual liar and a habitual criminal. And here the American people are going to do the same exact thing. Because I don't think, this is just me, I don't even think the American people are in control of this election anymore. I think this one is set up real nicely for one person and one person only. And it doesn't matter if the electoral votes come out in favor of this person. Because when you go around and you look around and you're driving down the street, how many Trump signs do you see and how many Hillary signs do you see? It could be 15-1, it could be 20-1 in favor of Trump. And here's the thing, I don't even like Trump. But we're sitting here and we're seeing how corrupt and how embedded the corruption is in the government. When the FBI, all these new leaked, I mean, what's there been, 12, 13 dumps from WikiLeaks? And all these emails that are being, boom, piled out there showing Hillary Clinton's habitual criminal behavior. And the Democrats and the establishment are looking this way. Can you believe it? Even the Republican establishment is going to side with Hillary. Even with all the incriminating evidence, even with the outright known lies and how she's treated women, and ever since the 60s, how she's been involved in practically every major scandal. You know, she was part of Watergate. I don't know if you knew about that. Hillary Clinton was part of Watergate. She goes way back then. I mean, she goes way back to then. Remember Whitewater? Hillary Clinton, always scandals, lies, and yet somehow I think she's going to win. You know, and I'm not a Trump supporter. He says some things I agree with. He's a little bit of a buffoon, but I think he just doesn't know everything about what goes on in the government, and he doesn't know the names like Hillary Clinton, because she knows the names, because she's been embedded in there. She's been intertwined with these people. She has lists. She has her good list and her bad list, and her good list are people who pay to play. That's also come out in the emails. I mean, are you people who are thinking of voting Hillary even paying attention to this person? You cannot be. You have to be ignoring this. You're, of course, going to get mad because Trump talks like any other guy when he thinks he's off camera. And that's some kind of big deal. And then Trump, who doesn't say he's going to honor the election results if he thinks something's wrong. I mean, you reserve the right to do that. Remember, Al Gore did it. It's not been the first time in U.S. history. This goes back, way back. Start looking into presidential elections and see how many times things have been challenged in certain areas because there's either been voter fraud or something has gone down that's been funny. I mean, they used to try to steal elections way back in the day. It's just become more sophisticated now. You get George Soros to have voting machines put in a bunch of states, and you're all set.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
So I think you need a new world order.
What difference at this point does it make?
You know, it's incredible that we're at this point. I'm starting to hear, wish we could have a reset. Wish we could just throw these two candidates out and redo it over. Okay, let's go with that logic, because there's a lot of people saying that. I've heard it at least a dozen times so far. I wish we could just not. Well, listen here. Excuse me. You people who think that, I just want to let you know that there's a thing called the primaries. And that in the primaries, you get to pick the person who becomes the head, the one that's going to represent your party. Now, you had a chance to go there at that time and decide if you wanted to go to the Democrat primaries or the Republican primaries, because they're, at least here in Michigan, that's how it works. I think every state's a little bit different, but at least the people in Michigan who are not happy, and that's the people I hear. So I'm just going off of that. We don't like the two candidates. Can't we just have a reset? What, do you want to have Obama for another 6 months until we figure that out? How about another 2 years? Right? How about another 2 years? I mean, you had your chance in the primaries, like I was stating. There were a whole bunch of people on the Republican side and a whole bunch of people on the Democrat side, and you could have wrote in somebody. And yet, what came out of it? Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, and now you're complaining. You're complaining because you sat home during the primaries. I know you did. Because if you look at the results, nobody showed up for the primaries. They were sitting home playing football or something. I don't know. Playing on their Nintendo or their computer, or maybe they were watching porn. I don't know. But they were too busy to go to the primaries and pick somebody worth a crap. I mean, I went. I know how important the primaries are. Everybody else doesn't care until it's the big show. They don't care until it's the Super Bowl. Oh, now it's just like the Super Bowl. Oh, now everybody's got to show up for the Super Bowl game. You know, we got to have a party for that. Get the chips and the dip and the beer and watch them two slug it out. When you had a chance to pick way back a year and a half ago, I don't remember when these primaries started. Somebody else. But you didn't show up. So now we're stuck. We've got Hillary and the Donald. You have two other candidates as well, one for the Green Party, one Libertarian. Hillary Clinton is so corrupt. If you don't want to vote Trump, don't sit home. Don't be another lazy bum that's going to allow Hillary Clinton to get in office, because she's probably going to get in either way. So what are you going to do? Why don't you go and vote for one of the third parties if you can't vote for Trump? Because if we can get at least 50% of the electorate to say we didn't want Hillary, if she wins the electoral vote but doesn't win the popular vote, and we can get her down to, 44%, 43%, she is not going to have the mandate, because if she wins with 51% of whatever, she's going to think, I can do whatever I want. Look what happened with Obama and Bush. They win, they do whatever they want because they won with the majority. Oh, we have a mandate now to do whatever we want. Bull crap. We've got to show that Hillary Clinton is not liked in this country. And even if she wins the election because of the electoral votes, because California can't vote any other way but one way forever. You don't think it's rigged in California when it continually votes one way? Woo, woo, woo. You don't think people's change? California's demographics have changed, but they keep voting the same way. Why is that? And they control the country. Look at how many electoral votes California gets, and a person in Delaware, his whole life, even if they vote opposite, even if they're against who votes against the candidate who California votes for, gets all the electoral votes, Delaware has to live with it. But that's another thing. We federalized everything. Most people don't even realize that your state is a nation. And then the United States is an umbrella, and it's supposed to be these United States. It became the United States when they incorporated the country. 1872, the Act of 1872, go look that up. See, you don't know these things, so you don't even know what's going on. The United States is pretty much a corporation. And if we can look at it that way, then you have 4 people running for president. You have Hillary Clinton, who's completely corrupt and makes money for herself in everything she does, and never, ever does it benefit the country she serves. You have Donald Trump, who is a businessman who had some good dealings and bad dealings, but he's a rich guy, so he's done pretty well. Sure, he's a little bit of a male chauvinist, I guess, and he likes women. Big frickin' deal. When you go behind closed doors, when you hear some of these people talk, I hear them. Liberal, conservative, Republican, Democrat, it don't matter. You get a bunch of guys in the room, they all talk the same. It's no different than Donald Trump. But you're going to make big deal, Donald Trump's a womanizer, blah, 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 blah. Hillary Clinton's a peopleizer. She rips off anybody she possibly can. She'll destroy your life if she can make something from it. She don't care about the individual. She cares about how she can benefit. And you're going to put her in charge of the United States? Or you're not going to show up to vote because of that? Vote for, write yourself in. I don't care. Write your name in. Write in the banger. I'm not going to win. So if you want to have an opposing view saying, I mean, if you're watching my videos, if you're listening to my show, you obviously are for the most part, liking what I say. So make a statement and put in the banger. If you don't want to vote for Trump, if you don't want to vote for the Libertarian candidate, if you don't want to vote for the Green Party candidate. And the Green Party candidate, who is probably more liberal in general than Hillary Clinton, she's telling you, you better vote for Trump if you don't vote for me. Do not vote for Hillary. And I don't think that our vote's going to matter. It's been a long time since our vote probably mattered. It matters in that primary a lot more than it matters now. But if somehow we can get that popular vote to be close to 60% against Hillary, even if she wins the Electoral College and becomes president, we could show publicly, even the mainstream media is going to talk about that. Fox News will at least talk about it. You're going to know that Rush Limbaugh's and the Alex Joneses and those type people are going to talk about that. And the people are going to be aware that Hillary Clinton is not liked. And she's going to know that she is not liked. And she can't take it out on that many people. She can take it out on some minority people. And I'm not talking minorities in terms of gender or race. I'm speaking small groups of people. She can take it out on them. Go look at Ruby Ridge. Go look at Waco, Texas. That won't be hard for Hillary Clinton. She's been through it with her husband. Anyways, folks, I know I'm long. We're going to take a quick break. We'll talk more on the flip side.
Don't touch that dial. The John Lebang Show will be right back.
You can bet on it, man.
Fans, do you need a video for your brand new song but don't have a lot of money? Then contact John Lebang. His reasonable rates, professional look, and fast turnarounds will help get that song off the ground. Contact him at jlebang.com. You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
It's better than some Thai stick, man. Yes, and I bet you're loving it.
Hey, pass that over.
All right, folks, welcome back. You know, and let's not forget, okay, Hillary, during the debate, had a lot to say about a lot of different issues, and when you broke it down, she said nothing at all. But there were a few interesting things. Remember when she talked about how Social Security was in trouble and there had to be something done with it? Well, let's look back at what happened. See, Trump missed a whole bunch of opportunities to cream her, and that's why a little bit of me thinks that Trump is part of the whole thing, just like Bernie Sanders was. You notice how Bernie Sanders, who said all this stuff about Hillary, had great support, didn't win because, well, we found out in the emails that she was cheating. She cheated all you Bernie Sanders supporters out. How can you guys vote for her? The WikiLeaks emails, and I know a lot of you out there on the supposed left, the people who supported Bernie Sanders, were big WikiLeaks supporters when it was coming out, when it first came out, and it was exposing some crap about the government you didn't like. So now we find out that she rips off Bernie Sanders. We find out through the emails that she was inciting violence at Trump rallies. We find out through the emails from that WikiLeaks put out to the world that she was getting paid by whoever just so, well, the foundation was just so they could have a meeting with her. She was using her influence, her power at the State Department, as the leader of the State Department, to make money for her foundation. And we know what her foundation is thought of down in Haiti. So whatever. But it was her husband who started robbing Social Security because he wanted to make his budget look better. Oh, we had all this more money because there was a surplus at Social Security at the time. So you help out the budget, make it look good. You look good. All the while, ever since then, Social Security has gone in the tank. And now we're worried about Social Security. Hillary Clinton says it's only a few years away from being insolvent.
We need to put more money into the Social Security Trust Fund. That's part of my commitment to raise taxes on the wealthy.
But it was your husband, who you supported, obviously. It was your husband who started robbing Social Security to make the budget look better. I know a lot of you young people do not remember this. And I know a lot of people who didn't pay attention back then do not remember this because they were younger. I've always been involved. I never did like the Clintons. When they bombed that aspirin factory, or Bill bombed the aspirin factory, I was completely against it. I'm like, all right, now we're just picking on Saddam Hussein just for the heck of it. We're just beating up on him. And now that I look back into the whole thing, Saddam looks like he was set up, and I'm not saying he's a good guy, because he's not. He was never a good guy. He's gone now. Burning in hell, if there's a hell, with all the other assholes out there. Did I say that? I've got to watch out. I can get in big trouble for saying certain words on the radio.
I might as well just start kicking your ass at the beginning of class. Oh my. You boys smell like a turd. What's wrong with you?
I can't understand how people are going to be able to walk into the ballot box and pull the lever, so to speak, for Hillary. I can see the corporations and the rich tycoons that are backing her who don't pay crap in taxes. I can see them get behind her. I can see people who are dependent on the system, whether it be illegal immigrants, welfare mothers, even Social Security recipients, back her. Not because they like her policies, but because she represents an extension of what they already get. Even if they didn't put in, now we can talk about Social Security on another date, but they don't always put in the amount they get out of it. And in fact, most people who put into the system do not get back what they exactly put into it. Some get more, some get less. And if that's the system we're going to run, there is no wonder Social Security is in trouble. If you don't get exactly what you put in out of it, every single person who puts into Social Security, if you don't get that exact money amount out of it, the exact dollar amount back, the system's wrong. The system's broken. Because if you put in $10, shouldn't you get $10 out of it? But some people put in 10 and get $5. And some people put in nothing and get $10. And Hillary Clinton's husband was the one who started robbing from the kitty in the first place, because it was unsustainable anyways. But Bill made it more unsustainable. And now we're on the brink of insolvency. That's Hillary Clinton who says that. So that's where we're left with, people. We've got Hillary Clinton, who the evidence is so great on this woman that she is not only corrupt, conniving, a liar, a scumbag, a lowlife, and yet for some reason I feel like she's going to win. And I hope I'm wrong on this, because every time I'm right on something, it really sucks for us, the people. We normally get screwed in the pooch. And although a lot of America has gone gay, I'm not one of them. And I don't want you to be one of them if you don't want to be. So the evidence is overwhelming, and yet Hillary Clinton's going to win. So I say that everybody, you people who want to sit out because you don't like the two major parties, go to one of the third parties. Spend a half hour of your time and make it known that you do not want Hillary. You people who want to sit out the election like you always do and then claim it's a farce, it's only a farce because you're sitting out, and you're going to help Hillary Clinton have power over us because you're not going to help the little guy that you so-called claim, the person that gets screwed over by the government, the one that you can't control. You're not going to do 30 minutes of time to do something like show the electorate that you do not want Hillary. Write your own name in. Vote for a third-party candidate. Vote for the banger. I'm not going to win. But if we get enough votes opposing Hillary, even if she wins the Electoral College, even if she wins it, it'll give us some leverage against her. I don't know how much, but if she wins with 51%, she's going to consider that a mandate, and the 49% of the people who did not want her, plus all the people who sat out because they were either too lazy or too disenfranchised from the whole system or whatever excuse they have, everybody that didn't vote for her is eventually going to feel her wrath. Taxes, whatever. And if enough people think the election was stolen, which it looks like it's going to be, worse things than you can ever imagine could happen. And I sure as hell don't want to see those days. So I know you sat out the primaries when it was the most important time to go. I know you were too busy for that. But now, when the main event is here, could I bother you to maybe get out of your chair for one night, November 8th, and head down to the polling center and vote against a woman you know you don't want it leading the country anyways? I don't care how you vote. Write in Scooby-Doo. Write in Shrek. I don't care. But we need the popular vote to be as close to 60% as possible against Hillary. When you add everything up, all the third-party candidates, all the independents, all the write-ins, if we can get that near 60%, the American people might have a little leverage to hold off whatever Hillary's bringing. If we could have done that for BO, for the Pink Panther, we might have been able to hold off some of the crap that's come down on us. But whatever. Break time, folks. When we get back, we're going to talk Julian Assange, for a little while. We won't talk too long about it, and then we'll get to some cooler uncool and maybe a couple other things. Don't think about touching that dial.
That would be a mistake.
The John Lebang Show will be right back after this.
That's guaranteed, man. Like some good Thai stick.
Did you know you can exercise often but undo your efforts with unhealthy eating habits? I'm Coach Strea, and I would love to help you reach your health and fitness goals, all from the privacy of your own home. My next health and fitness challenge starts soon. You get accountability, motivation, one-on-one support from me, meal planning, fitness program, 30 days of Shakeology, and more. Contact me at CoachStrea.com. That's CoachDrea.com or Facebook.com/CoachStrea. What do you have to lose?
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
And according to WikiLeaks, it's per request of the United States. And apparently John Kerry was the one who made the request. Of course, the United States denies these claims because, well, the government is so on the level that they would never stoop to that level, to where they would go and shut somebody's internet or make some country shut down the internet of a guest in their own consulate. I guess he's not paying rent. Maybe Comcast, their prices went up and they couldn't afford to have Julian Assange on the bill anymore. I don't know. But apparently John Kerry did have a private meeting with some Ecuadorian officials, and that took place in Colombia around September 26th. So I have some questions on this. Julian Assange was allowed to stay in the Ecuadorian consulate. They said you can live here and that you can live here indefinitely, apparently. But all of a sudden, days before a major debate in which Hillary Clinton didn't do so well in the last debate, days before that debate, WikiLeaks founder gets cut off from the rest of the world via the internet. He no longer is allowed on the internet. Why now? Why is the Ecuadorian government doing it now? That's one of the questions I'd like answered. Why now? I'm sure you out there can answer that question. Why did it take so long for these guys to shut him down? They've been letting him release documents for so long, and just now, arbitrarily, they're like, now, sorry, we can't do it. According to the U.S., there was no request there. And in fact, what was their statement? I'll get their statement for you. While our concerns about WikiLeaks are long-standing, any suggestions that Secretary John Kerry or the State Department were involved in shutting down WikiLeaks is false. Well, notice how they worded that statement. Yes, they didn't shut down WikiLeaks at all, but they coerced the Ecuadorian government, maybe, very possibly, into shutting down Julian Assange, which is a little different than WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks works outside of Julian. It's not like Julian is the only person working for WikiLeaks. At least I don't think so, right? It's like there's not just one person in Anonymous, right? Or any of the other little groups out there. So why did it take so long for the Ecuadorian government to do such a thing? Okay, so we got that one. Now, how about this? Since he's cut off from the world, isn't there some way he can get some kind of Wi-Fi going so he can pick up? I know people rip off my Wi-Fi all the time. So isn't it possible that they could get somebody who works for WikiLeaks that the government isn't trying to chase down to have some kind of little Wi-Fi receiver available to him somehow to pick it up somewhere? I'm not sure, right? Does he not have a phone? You know what I'm saying? Unless, is all that cut off from him? I mean, he can't even go, can I dial out on your little rotary phone here? You know, your little old classic phone? Because I got to call my buddy. They're not even allowing him to do that. You know what I'm saying? So he's not getting information out, or he's not going to be able to get information out. And this is actually the main reason why I brought this up. I watched a video from Monograph. Most of you know who he is. A week ago, 3-4 days ago, I don't know how many days ago it was, where he talked. It was probably even further than that, actually. I'm sorry, it was further than that. Where he talked about where Julian Assange was probably in custody of the United States. In custody of the United States. Well, I will say this. If he wasn't before, there's a good likelihood he is now. Because if he's cut off from the rest of the world, somehow nobody can find him, talk to him or see him. He doesn't seem to apparently to have a phone he can call out on. And the Ecuadorian government is just covering for the fact, they're being used as a scapegoat here, almost in like a false flag, kinda, with a little help from the Ecuadorian government, saying they just shut him off. Because to me, there's no apparent reason unless some kind of pressure came to bear. I mean, he was only releasing documents about Hillary Clinton, and if they weren't true, if none of them were true, then why even worry about stopping him from publishing these documents? Why even do that? Doesn't make any sense. So apparently, these documents that Mr. Assange is releasing and WikiLeaks is releasing is damaging to Hillary, does show her corruption, does show certain things that prove that she does criminal behavior. So if that's the case, you've got to silence him. And maybe this is why, and this is going to go to a greater thing here, maybe this is why Hillary Clinton wasn't indicted, and I'm going to dovetail onto something Monograph said, again, months ago. The reason Hillary Clinton wasn't indicted is because if she's indicted, it's that one little string that will undo the entire web. The Clintons are so wound up into the government. They're so weaved into the fabric of everything. All their people, all their influence, all weaved into the government. If you were to pull the main string right now, the one that's fraying out, that just happens to be Hillary. If you were to pull that string, the whole house of cards, the whole sweater would fall apart. And maybe these documents were leading to that. Because what did we get? Just that we got the 10th batch the other day. So I'm glad to see we're getting new things out from WikiLeaks. Because it's important. He's putting his life in danger, that's for sure. But if he wasn't in custody before, there's a really, really, really good chance he is now. Because he's cut off from communications. And he doesn't come out of the building. So how do we know? He doesn't come outside. How do we know he just isn't grabbed up? And the Ecuadorian government is just taking the heat for this right now by saying, we turned off the internet. And maybe after the elections, he will suddenly be out of custody. Although if they have him in custody, I don't think he'd ever be out of custody unless he went through one of those MK Ultra little mind control things that they work on some people with. Maybe they just erases, the little thing from the Men in Black where they put the glasses on and go, and your memory's gone. You never know. Very possible they might do that to Julian if they have him in custody and want to release him after. You just plant some other information in there. I'm Julian Assange. Yes, I own WikiLeaks. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. But the fact that the Ecuadorian government, after all this time, does this sort of thing, apparently out of the blue, because The United States is denying the fact that they had any influence over it, and we've got to believe everybody from the United States. We've got to believe John Kerry, we've got to believe Hillary Clinton, and we got to believe Barack Obama, because they are all incredibly credible people. I mean, really. So because they're credible, and Julian Assange has no credibility, I guess, apparent to them, we got to believe them. So they have nothing to do with this shutdown. So I just want everybody out there to get, remember that. According to the United States government, John Kerry exerted no influence over Ecuador. I mean, how much influence would you really have to? If they really wanted Julian Assange way back in the day, they scared him into hiding there, and they just, okay, he's in jail already. But if you really wanted to go after him, exactly how is Ecuador going to stop you? Just saying, even if you went into their consulate, took Julian Assange out, put him into custody, did whatever torture, whatever else to him, and Ecuador was to protest, it's not like they're going to go to war with the United States. And even if they did, I mean, it would be an act of war, but I mean, even if they went to war, I don't think Ecuador's going to win that battle. Although we can't beat a ragtag terrorist group, so maybe Ecuador would beat the United States under the leadership of Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. Nothing is impossible, I mean, you never know who you would lose a war to, just out of the blue, just randomly. Oh, we lost. Sorry. Tough shit. So, I don't know. What do you guys think out there? I haven't been looking at the comments at all. I've been rambling it on, so I'm not even sure anybody's out there commenting. Sorry for the stumble right at the beginning, folks. Like I said, I've been up since like 5 o'clock this morning, all day. I was working, then I had a funeral to go to, and so it's been a day. We'll just say that. And so I'm just trying to ride it out. And I had these questions about Julian and the WikiLeaks and the United States government maybe, blocking him, arresting him, stopping him. I don't know what's going on exactly, but it's extremely strange that Ecuador would do this now. And it's also strange that nobody can get any Wi-Fi to him. Doesn't he have a phone? And as Jay Smith says, is he alive? Well, alive, in custody, I don't know. You just never know, guys. What is possibly going to come from this, and what has happened to the man? You notice how gray he's gotten, because he never was that gray. But he's gotten. I mean, if you're living in the Ecuadorian consulate for, what is it, 4 years now? I guess you would turn gray. I mean, wonder how many chicks he gets. Does he even get chicks? I mean, do they import them? Is that when you're at a consulate? When they bring in women, are they allowed to bring in women to these consulates? I mean, I don't know. But anyways, on a little more serious note, guys, what do you think happened? Do you really think the Ecuadorian government shut them down just out of their own will? Do you think there was pressure brought on them by the United States government? I mean, why else? Why else? I mean, who is he hurting, right? Julian Assange, who's released all these emails and all this information to the world. Who is he hurting? That should tell you who is behind shutting him up. And I don't know what's up. I'm not there. I'm in Michigan. So I'm half a world apart here. I'm just going by what the news is relaying to us, and how accurate is the news. Remember, she does have a lot of former friends that are now currently deceased. They're in that deceased state. That happens after you've lived a little while and you get involved with the Clintons, and then something happens to you. You become deceased. It's like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly in a way. You get involved With the well, actually, you don't become butterfly. Would mean something. It's more like a moth, but whatever. You're working for the Clintons. You're this little caterpillar. Oh, they love you. Ooh, nice little caterpillar. And then you become the moth, and they got to kill you. You start eating their clothes or whatever, and they don't like that. The Clintons are very, very, very angry people. When you come down to it, they don't like people messing with their stuff. The couple who was supposedly broke after they left the White House, and now has millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. I mean, there was only pay for play going on at the State Department while Hillary was Secretary of State. I mean, if you wanted to hang out with her, if you wanted to chill out with Hillary, you had to pay the Clinton Foundation for that. And then they only give away a little bit of money, and then they keep the rest of it for themselves, because you got to get paid when you work for the Clinton Foundation. Just so you know. You can't work for free. I mean, that would be horrible.
If you want to call into the John Lebang Show, just dial 313-444-8919 or send us an email at jlebang@live.com, or you can just join the chat room at the station you're listening to. Banger.
You're calling the John Lebang Show.
Hey, John.
Shady, where you at?
Well, I'm running a little behind, if you catch my drift.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I'm waiting.
What are you waiting for?
For some clean underwear. I'll be there in a minute.
Okay, thanks for your call. Well, since we got a few minutes before Shady is going to join us, I thought maybe we'd talk about the big internet shutdown, or at least part of the internet was shut down with Reddit and Twitter and a bunch of other websites on Friday morning were just shut down. And it's a thing that got a lot of people, got their attention. They were like, whoa, what's going on here? And apparently WikiLeaks is saying that maybe their supporters were involved with that, even though some people, the normal people named Hillary Clinton and her ilk, are of course blaming it on the Russians, because everything's the Russians' fault. If you vote for her, we're going to get in a war with Russia. Just that alone should disqualify her, because she is picking a fight with Russia. And if that's what you want, then more power to you, I guess. But something's real suspicious with this shutdown with Twitter and Reddit. These information sources, as well as other websites out there, because they didn't just hit those two, but those are the two I want to focus on for just a minute. Isn't it suspicious? Only a few weeks since Obama transferred the power of the internet, maybe not the controlling aspects of everything, but the domain names and the addresses and all those ways normal people would be searching out internet information through websites and such, those big sites just were down. Not that far long after the transfer of power happened. And I know not many people have been talking about it, but since we have a few minutes here, I thought, well, maybe this crossed my mind. I said, maybe this was a test to see how many they could affect. And since they have the cover of WikiLeaks and they have the cover of Russia, since those are the current boogeymen, those are the current bad guys, then maybe this was a test to see what they could shut down, how long they could shut it down. I don't know. But it gives you a few things to think about, doesn't it? Like, all of a sudden, these sites are being shut down out of nowhere. And with the amount of information these sites put out, and especially at this time of the year, right before the election, and Hillary is the main target to most of these things, just makes you wonder, and it's a strange coincidence it's happening now. Because let's say it happens on a larger scale, and they find a way to pin it on Russia, then what? Joe Biden's been talking tough with Russia. Obama's been talking tough about Russia. Clinton's been talking tough about Russia. Some of the neocons have. And right here, just weeks before the election, we see that both the establishment Republicans and Democrats are siding for the same candidate. And we're seeing everybody else who's not part of the establishment, everybody who's pretty much a regular person, not bought out by a union, not part of some matters group. We're talking regular, everyday Americans who they're gravitating to. See, that didn't take long. Well, we're almost done now, Shady. Well, I don't care. I like quickies too. Okay then, let's give it a shot. Tonight's cool or uncool is WikiLeaks releasing emails. Now you can send us your responses to jlebang@live.com, or you can go to the chat room on the station you're listening to us on and let us know there. And you can call in at 313-444-8919. And our first call comes from Las Vegas, Nevada, where he's listening in on Radio Vegas. Pelvis, cool or uncool?
I think it's cool.
Okay, thanks for your call. 1-0 for the cool. Over to the United Kingdom, where he's listening to us on Identity Radio. Henry, what say you?
I think it's bloody cool.
Okay, thanks for your call. 2-0 for the cool. Hey, Joan, what's that, Chitty? Have you seen Trump's daughter? Yeah, why? Well, she makes me drool. Okay, over to Detroit, Michigan, listening in on Alien X Radio. Dean, you're up next.
I'm Dirty Dean, and I think it's uncool. And you better start changing your mind, or else I'll come over there and use my mind control.
Okay, thanks for your call. Now that guy's a menace to society, and they need to lock him up. Listening in on Code Zero Radio in Iowa, Anonymous, what say you?
Well, hello, John. I am glad that wherever I may be running to, I can find you on the radio.
Oh, this guy again. Abu, how did you get to Iowa so quickly?
Oh, I have a magic camel, John, and I'm on the run, just like Paul McCartney and the Wings.
What? What do you mean Paul McCartney and the Wings?
You never heard of that song?
What song are you talking about, Abu?
Oh, well, let me show you.
John, you better hang up on him.
1,
He's
2,
going to start
3,
singing.
4.
Well, how do you know?
Camels on the run.
Oh, God, see?
Said camels on the run.
He wants to be a singer, Shady.
And the homie man chased me where he can.
Oh, God.
He likes to touch me on the bum.
Don't you think he's getting better?
Cause my
No,
camel's on the run.
Just hang up on him, please. My stomach can't handle it anymore.
Yes, I just camels on the run.
Okay, we don't want another episode in here. Well, you can say that again. Okay, thanks for your call. But I think I'm going to count that towards the cool. Well, how do you figure that? Well, right now, Abu's kind of like Julian Assange. Yeah, I see your point on that. That's 3-1 for the cools. Shady, what are they saying in the chat room? Well, I haven't checked, and I don't want to. What do you mean you don't want to? Listen, I've got to go again. The cools win. Bye. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for yet another 60 minutes of sonic vibrations known as
The John Lebang Show.
I want to thank all my affiliate stations from Detroit to the United Kingdom, Iowa to Chicago, New York to Canton, Ohio, Las Vegas, Tampa, and Amsterdam. The Radio Revolution continues to broadcast loud and clear. Don't forget to go to my website. That's www.jlebang.com. Thank you all for listening. And until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, this is John Lebang. I am signing off.
1. We have liftoff. Tune in again next week. Same time, Same space, same station.
Resistance is futile.